Hello, and welcome back to Pagoda Chinese School, a platform which offers a structured approach to learning Mandarin to support you in your goal of becoming fluent in another language. In this lesson, which is the first of 8 introductory lessons, we're going to learn about 2 fundamental features of Mandarin, pinyin and tones. If you haven't already done so, don't forget to subscribe to this channel to take advantage of the free content and stay on top of your Mandarin journey. By the end of this lesson, we will understand the concept of pinyin and why it was created. We will also understand what is meant by a tonal language, and we will be able to distinguish between the 4 tones in Mandarin. So, in Chinese, we use a writing system known as characters, which are basically just symbols that convey meaning. So if you're not familiar with the characters, you won't be able to understand the word or even pronounce the word. So pinyin is the romanization of the Chinese characters, which basically put the phonetic sound into our alphabet so we can pronounce the word. So pinyin literally translates to spell sound. It was developed to bridge the gap between the Chinese characters and the English alphabet to help people learn and understand Mandarin. You can actually type in Mandarin on a computer by typing out the phonetic sound in pinyin on the keyboard. So take a look at this sentence here. Obviously it's written in Chinese characters, so we have no idea what it means. We don't even know how to read it, and thus pinyin was created. Now, at least we can spell the syllables out phonetically. Look, 我喜欢学习中文. Okay, 我喜欢学习中文. Although we still have no idea what this actually means, this bridges the gap between the Chinese character system and the English alphabet, making it easier for us to pronounce the syllables. In English, this would say, I like studying Chinese. So now moving on to tones. You were perhaps wondering what those lines were on the top of the vowels on the pinyin. So these are to signify which tone to use. So Mandarin is a tonal language, which means the syllables carry different meanings depending on which tones you use. There's 4 tones to use in Mandarin, as well as a 5th neutral tone. Well, that's toneless, so it's not really a tone. So there's 4 tones to learn and apply to our Mandarin studies. Like I said, each syllable will mean something totally different said in the wrong tone. So that means each syllable or word can be said at 4 different pitches. Tones are an integral part of spoken Chinese, and mastering them requires a lot of listening and spoken practice, because incorrect tones can genuinely be the source of miscommunication. I will share some good resources to help with tones. It is definitely worth putting in the time and putting in the effort on your tones, especially at the start, because as your level increases in Mandarin, this will pave the way for successful and meaningful conversation. Make sure that throughout your Mandarin study, you are becoming increasingly familiar with putting syllables together which have different tones and practice combining them in phrases and in sentences. So if you can record yourself practicing your tones and listen to them back, or if you have the opportunity to practice with a native speaker, this will really help your learning. Okay, so let's now learn the 4 tones. Let's use the syllable ah, okay? So the first tone, the straight line, okay, we would say ah, and again, ah. Okay, one more time, ah. Okay, excellent. Now the second tone, as the line suggests, kind of rises in pitch. So we will say ah. Okay, and again, ah. Okay, one more time, ah. Okay, amazing. So now we have ah, ah for tones 1 and tones 2. Okay, and now let's move on to tone 3. Okay, so the line kind of suggests the pitch of the tone. So as we can see, it kind of dips in pitch before rising in pitch. So we will say ah, and again, ah. One more time, ah. Fantastic. So far we have ah, ah, ah for tone 1, 2 and 3. And finally, let's learn tone 4. Okay, so as the line suggests, this comes down in pitch, okay? It's quite an abrupt sound, okay? So let's say ah. Okay, and again, ah. Perfect. So far we have ah, 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 ah. Okay, one more time. Ah, 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 ah. That's tone 1, 2, 3, and 4. Let's make sure we're practicing this in our own time. So now let's apply the 4 tones to the syllable ma. So as we can see, ma said in 4 different tones will convey different meanings. So if we say ma in the first tone, so ma, it can mean mother. If we say ma in the second tone, so ma, it can mean fibre. If we say ma in the third tone, so ma, it can mean horse. And if we say ma in the 4th tone, so ma, it can mean to curse. So let's practice saying ma with the 4 tones combined. Ma, 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 ma. Okay, and again. Ma, 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 ma. Okay, by the way, we can use our hands to sort of suggest the pitch of the tone. So although the characters are different for each one of these words, which are pronounced ma, in spoken Chinese it's absolutely vital that we use the right tone to convey the right meaning. So when you move forward in your Mandarin journey, make it a priority to practice the words and syllables using the correct tones. Now, let's take a look at this. Using what we have learned, let's see if we can identify the character, the pinyin, and the tone. So here we have the character, the bit that we can't actually read or understand yet. Here we have the pinyin, the bit which tells us how to pronounce the word, so ni. And here we have the tone, the bit which tells us which direction to pronounce the syllable or the word. Okay, well done, and thank you for a very successful lesson. So, available in the downloads, there will be a link to the Chinese pod to help you practice the tones. There will also be a link to a PDF to gain a deeper understanding of the tones. And now to finish off, let's revisit our lesson objectives for today. So we said that by the end of this lesson, we will understand what pinyin is and why it was created. So we know that in order to phoneticize the Chinese characters, which we can't read, pinyin was created to bridge the gap between Mandarin characters and English. And the second objective, to know what is meant by a tonal language. Okay, so now we understand that there's 4 different tones we can apply to words or syllables in Mandarin to convey a totally different meaning. And the third objective, to be able to distinguish between the 4 tones. So, using the syllable ma, we have ma, first tone, ma, second tone, ma, third tone, ma, 4th tone. Let's make sure we're putting the time and practice in on our own so that before the next lesson, we already have a solid foundation from this lesson. Once again, very well done. Thank you very much for taking part. Okay, see you soon.